Before we start, respect is given to our lecturer, Madam Suhana Ismail, and Team Group 1, including Anis Adibah, Nurul Akila, Nasrul Muhaimin, Khairulisa, and Nurul Husna. We will present to you about site investigation and soil tests. Soil. Who knew that it was the wonder stuff beneath your feet that also helped in the selection of the building site? Various methods should be considered when selecting a building site. The suitability of land for a certain project will affect the client's decision to build on top of it. The cost to develop for the site project also makes the client think twice before starting the project. The site investigation is to determine whether the proposed land is suitable for its intended purpose. When the client identifies a site, then the building surveyor needs to do site investigates to check to assess the land with the services such as main water, electricity, and drainage. Besides, to check how the strength of the soil because it will affect the design of the foundations. And to know the amount of water and slopes in the ground because they will affect the design of the foundations and working procedures. There are two main forms of investigation, which are desk study and site study. Desk study is a study based on survey maps include transport link with the location. The site plan includes facilitating nearby the site, history of the site, whether the land has previously been developed, or site for rubbish disposal. Water type, which is including the water source of the site, such as river or sea. Physical or site study is also known as a walkover survey. Investigate the site based on all information obtained from the desk study. Type of ground. In the formation of soil layers, we have humus, topsoil, subsoil, and rock. Ground type consists of two parts, namely soil and rock. For rocks, it has three categories, namely metamorphic, igneous, and sedimentary, while for soils it shows four types, namely cohesive, non-cohesive, organic, and synthetic. These are some of the factors of ground movement, including compactness of soils. This is because of the load and weight of the building. Besides that, the ground made unstable by agitation, excavations, or by dewatering. Groundwater is the portion of the rainwater that is absorbed into the ground and drainage, where it may be required for the following reasons of soil compaction due to the load and weight of the building. It is to avoid dampness in the basements and avoid surface flooding. Site dewatering. This part is a process of separating water from the soil. The goal is to allow the structure to build in a dry place. Method used are well pointing and copper dam for under excavation. Next, soil investigations. The reason why we need to do the soil investigation is we want to get further information about the type and characteristic of the soil. Three methods that are usually used to obtain the soil sample, which are trial pits, auger, and core samples. For trial pits, it is excavated by either hand digging or machine excavation. For auger, it is excavated by a hand auger that is used by one or two men, while for core samples, the cylindrical tube with a cutting edge is used. Soil testing can be either undertaken on the site or in a laboratory. For soil testing, there are several methods that we can do. The first method is the standard penetration test, which can measure the resistance of the soil. Secondly, bend test is a method that can measure the strength of the soil. For plate bearing test, usually carried out at the foundation level or on the surface of the soil. Lastly, the laboratory testing. When the soil arrives, it will be identified and classified into the same group. After that, the texture, color, and consistency of sample need to be checked. To conclude, we need to look for possibilities that would affect the site project, especially in the land itself. That is why we need to do site and soil investigation to prevent any casualties from happening at the place in the future.